it can't be Belichick or Stefanski. Some people are just going to say, well, anything here is Stefanski. It's when you let somebody go. Now, you usually have 2 or 3 or 4 different candidates for that job. What's the matter?
You're overthinking it now. I think it is exactly Belichick or Stefanski.
Oh, my God, no.
Just listen for a minute. You've been against this since I brought it up.
All right, I'm listening.
Just listen, okay?
I'm listening.
It's only Belichick or Stefanski, because I'm ready for Stefanski change too. But I agree with you, Ken. It's not over, not for Belichick. And that's like one of the names that I'd be like, no, well, I'll just stay in this wash again for another year. I can't do that. I couldn't do a Belichick year or 2 years or whatever it would be, right? It'd be a 10-year contract with a 1-year actual doing, and then the Browns pay another coach for perpetuity. I think that's a name that you're going to bring up, and there are going to be people that vote for Belichick in this poll strictly because they're so done with Stefanski.
Oh, so they'll take anybody.
They would take my mom over Kevin Stefanski right now.
Your mom's a wonderful lady.
Well, I think she'd make a great head coach.
The only mom on this show that's still alive. Because Mitch is leaving after
That's
today,
true.
so that means we're only going to have 3.
But I am down a dad, and you guys are still technically rocking with that.
So is a thought also that he would restore a culture? He would.
A chance talking to yours, and he does his.
There'd be no question on the sidelines who's in charge. We've asked those questions about Stefanski, continuously. Like, who's the guy that's going to step up and say what needs to be said, holding guys accountable? When guys are jumping off sides to lose you a game at the end of a game, or when the special teams coach deservedly should have been fired 2 weeks into the season, and yet we've had the why haven't they fired the special teams coach show 5 weeks this year, 5 different Mondays?
Yes, and that's been going on for 10 weeks now.
That's
at least.
Insane. That's insane that we've got, we know with Belichick that just wouldn't be the case.
Right. But do you think players would still respect Bill Belichick the way they did even 5 years ago?
No.
Maybe some offensive linemen.
He has to have.
But you're like, he's not bringing McDaniels with him.
No.
And that would be the only selling point.
Yeah, that would be.
Now.
And by the way, that would be a selling point.
There are players who love him. From the Giants to the Browns, there are like Pepper Johnson. I mean, there are guys who love Bill Belichick from back in the day. And I'm sure there's Patriots who love Bill Belichick. But there comes a time where it ends for all of us. It's some level of where, hey, you're not what you used to be. And I understand he's a legend, but we gotta move on to other things. If it's not going to be Stefanski, I'm willing to accept that. It's 6-25, and I'm not going to. I told you guys on Monday, I can't fight it any longer. I'm not going to fight it any longer. I'm done finding excuses. I'm done finding little reasons and all the other things. I can't do it anymore. It seems that he doesn't. It feels to me that he doesn't want to be here anymore. So what's the point? What's the point? Everything you hear, it's a new thing every single day or every single week. And so I'm not going to fight it. But if I'm going to go with somebody else, I'm not going to go with Belichick. And I'm getting all the Jordan Hudson stuff. It ain't about who he's in a relationship with. I don't care. If you can handle your business, handle your business. I'm way more upset. And I'll tell you what, there's even more. And I will say one thing to that. There are those crazy reports that come out, which I don't know what to believe on message boards, and I don't know what not to believe on message boards anymore, where she's really running the program and all this other stuff. I think that's probably embellished, but you just let go. Or one guy just left who we didn't know how much he was actually in charge with. We're going to bring in another person who doesn't even have any sort of a football background, and another person who comes in, and we're going to have those conversations if things go awry here. No, I'm not doing that. But it's not even about that with me. What a guy does in his personal life, if he keeps everything intact, that's on his personal life. What I'm talking about is the Patricia stuff. Like, you're seeing Mac Jones play competent, good football in San Francisco. Now, he's the backup again, but when he's playing, because you're seeing a guy who knows what he's doing, work with him, and Kyle Shanahan. I mean, you guys think, you think Kevin doesn't handle Shedeur the wrong way, or the right way. Get a load of this guy when he comes here. Get a load of him. And what will he do? What will he do with him? You ain't seen nothing yet. Defensive coordinators in charge of your offense for a second-year player that they did that with Mac Jones.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Dead in the water.
The whole thing has eroded, unfortunately, because I'm not gonna go so far, like so many people have been like, well, clearly Tom Brady was running the show the entire time. Like, no, Bill Belichick is a legendary coach, arguably as good defensively as any coordinator / coach in the history of the game. That's how influential he was to the entire league. Basically, every team for many years there was just copying, what Belichick was doing because they were trying to tap into that. There's a reason why all his assistants were getting head coaching jobs because other owners were desperate to tap into the Belichick stuff. But it's just fair to say, like, he's kind of lost his bearings over the last however many years. Whatever happened there at the end of the Tom Brady era to whatever happened after that, like, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't want any 70-year-old head coach. I was looking. Did you see Bruce Arians? Somebody brought Bruce Arians up the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I would take Arians. And I looked at his age. I'm like, I hate to be ageist, but, at this stage, like, we can't find somebody half their age.
If we were in a much better, like, if we were in a Bills position, if we were in a position where, or just underneath, like, I'm trying to find an example.
Arians worked in Tampa because they knew that window right there was 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
right.
That's it.
So get in, get out.
Yeah,
let's go win a championship, and then
Arians is 73.
Right, and he found a successor for Bowles was there or came with him to run that defense.
Yeah, it's a great point.
That made sense, and then they got lucky that they found a quarterback. I know the year has not ended the way that it started, but...
And Todd Bowles, that's a perfect example. Competent football coach. Good football coach.
Yeah.
Now, it ends bad for everybody, so it'll end bad for him in Tampa because it ends bad for everybody. But a good football coach, competent. Who's Bill bringing from North Carolina? Well, you guys have been making jokes over the last 12 months.
Yeah, Son is going to run...
Who's going to run things?
Freddie.
Oh, God, no.
He fired Freddie.
Yeah, he fired Freddie. He fired special teams coach.
Dave in Cleveland. Dave, you're first up on the fan. Dave. Dave dropped his phone. Excellent.
Some people get us on YouTube Live. Some people just listen to us on hold.
Larry in Elyria, you're next up on the fan. Hello, Larry.
Oh, boy.
Are we having problems with the phones here?
I don't think we are.
Larry in Cleveland. We got back-to-back Larrys. This is my brother Daryl. This is my other brother Daryl. Hi, Larry.
Yeah, you're still, man. Good morning, guys. Thank you, man.
Hi.
I hope, man, the Browns get everything together, man, because, man, we deserve it. The fans deserve it. And we got a big game this Sunday. I think that, man, the cardiac kids come back in life. Be honest, man.
What are you doing? Why?
We're off to a hell of a start.
Yeah. Wait, why? What was wrong with that?
Why don't you take phone calls as much as you used to? Well, those three were.
He was excited. You found a guy who's excited about this Sunday. He's not a Bills fan that's going to be, hanging out with all his buddies doing their. What is the Bills song? What is the Bills with their Zubaz pants?
Alice?
Last time no.
Is it Alice by the Buffalo Touch?
It's the shout. They do the shout song, and they do it the entire game.
What, by the Isley Brothers?
They do their version.
They have their own version of shout?
Yes, and they do it the entire game.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Because this is going to be...
I did not know that.
Is that what Dustin's told you?
I've been there. I was sitting with Josh Potter, the stand-up comedian.
You've been to a Bills game?
Yes, here in Cleveland. Not in Buffalo, in Cleveland.
Okay.
But they took over the stadium back then.
What's the ticket prices, by the way, for Sunday? Because it's probably cheaper to go here than it is over there. I mean, they're in their final games over there in Buffalo because I think they got to go on the road when they go to the playoffs. So that's like basically the end of the era there with that stadium. It's just like New Era Field, but I think it was Rich Stadium at the beginning.
In here is 57 is the cheapest. It's actually been
it's not bad.
One of the more expensive one of the more expensive resale prices we've seen.
That's one of the more expensive ones. All right, 216-474-0092. Do you want me to try to take more calls here?
Oh.
All right, Warren on the road. Go ahead.
Morning, guys. Great job as usual. First I heard this. I saw it on Instagram. I was all excited. And then I was like, now, wait a minute. He's too old. Then I turned into you guys this morning when I get in the car. And absolutely, I'm agreeing with the same thing. Plus, we already got a good defensive coordinator. We got to get the offense going. So, what's the word with bringing Chucky back into the NFL. Is that something that could still happen or what? I'd love to have Gruden here.
So this is where we're kind of at with this right now, Warren. Thank you very much for the call. I do believe that there is a lawsuit going on. I don't know if anybody in the NFL is going to touch him while there's a lawsuit going on. I think he's in his own. I think he kind of wants retribution for the things he's been accused of, what he got fired for. But I don't know until that's done if anybody's going to take him. Now, if there was a team that was going to go against the rest of the NFL, it used to be the Raiders until Al Davis passed away. If there's going to be anybody that's going to go against the NFL, obviously we're your home for going against the NFL right here in Cleveland, Ohio. Because there's been basically two decisions here over these last how many years where the rest of the NFL teams have been like, what are you doing? And the Browns are like, yeah, we're just trying to win football games. That's all we're trying to do here. We don't win a lot of them, but they do try. And John Gruden would be an effort towards that. He would. 216-474-0092. He couldn't do the unboxing videos anymore, though, so. But you're an active head coach. You can't do unboxings anymore.
You can't take that away from him.
Well, they are college and high school teams, and they had the Turkey Bowl. That was a good one. That was nice. So maybe he could.
He can unbox the playbook every day.
8:20, Daryl Ryder going to join us on the show. So far, people are voting for Kevin Stefanski. There you go.
Which may not necessarily be a vote of confidence for him, truly. It might just be, I think the Belichick thing gets run its course.
That's a good point.
What a rough year.
Yeah.
Are you a little surprised that he's even in position to coach Carolina the second year? Because I thought
a little bit.
I thought it was looking like the whole thing would be done with like 2 weeks left in the regular season.
Well, there was stories, and in college football, people get really excited about firings. People get excited about sports firings anyway. But a name like that, with everything, I mean, good God, the 60 Minutes interview and all the other things that were there, it's like, boy, when's enough going to be enough? They won a couple of games. What, they finished 4-8, 5-7, somewhere in there. I thought maybe they could win 7-8 games. I did not realize that until I found out, and there was the article published in The Athletic a couple of months ago that they were outbidding G5 teams. I mean, it's unbelievable. And when you're outbidding G5 teams in the ACC, it's like, okay, you could beat lower tier, maybe some lower tier ACC teams, or you can beat your G5 opponents, but you're not going to beat the middle of the road upper tier ACC teams. And I mean, they flatly embarrass themselves so many times. Yeah. And so that also is one of the reasons that lead me to think, well, wait a minute. His process isn't as good as it used to be. His scouting now isn't as good as it used to be. His decision-making is in question with people around him. The coaching staff. With the coaching staff, those things are there. I'm going, well, I want to trade out. Like, I have all these same problems with the Browns. All these same problems with the Browns. And we're trying to get better?
Now, I do think there's some things that he might foster in terms of, in that locker room a little bit better than Stefanski has. But, man, he's also... We talked about, even I've said this for Kevin, the league has changed so much in the 6 years that if you remember, in the first 2+ years of Stefanski, all the film gurus were like, look at this stuff, look at what he's setting up. And now they're doing that for guys like, who's the coach of Jacksonville? Liam,
Cohen.
Like these young coaches now, Ben Johnson, look at the stuff they're doing now. Well, they're not doing that for Kevin Stefanski anymore. Well, why aren't they doing that for Kevin Stefanski? Well, I think in 6 years, you got to keep up with the Joneses. I really think you do. And even Sean Payton says that year off that he had allowed him to kind of regroup and keep up with his peers, his contemporaries. Well, Kevin hasn't had that time. He's been in it. He's been in the trenches. And the stuff he was doing 5 years ago, 6 years ago, may not work against this too high stuff that every team is rolling out now.
So Keith asked us a great question, and I think it's fish in a barrel on this one, where Keith had asked, someone's going to have to explain the fascination behind John Gruden. The guy was 22-31 with the Raiders. He's 62, nearly 25 years removed from his championship. Beyond the name, what the hell are people looking at?
TV personality.
I don't even... Bingo. Beyond the name, what are they looking at? They're looking at the viral videos. I mean, you go from... Kevin is never... People want to be motivated. People think... Like, there are guys... Like Belichick... When Belichick would go out and do his interviews and he would just be this... There were guys like Gerard who go, nah, he's not really like that behind the scenes.
Right. That's all for show.
And that's for show. And then Kevin, it seems that he's more of a tactician. He's not going to be really that fiery. even when he's fiery, is not that fiery. Like you hear Kevin in a press conference.
This is on the Stefanski show last night.
Go ahead.
He was asked about how to motivate the team for the Bills game. Here's his answer.
The guys are well aware of what's in front of us. They're well aware of this football team and where they are. We know how important these games are to who we are. We want to perform in front of our fans because of the work that these guys put in on a day-to-day basis. You want to reap the rewards of all that work. That's where our focus is.
Yeah, that goes over like a lead balloon with the fans. But then you hear John Gruden on like an HBO series.
Second week, it's time for us to raise the bar now. Are we clear on that? We got to raise the bar. I want to practice with better etiquette, okay? Stay off the ground, stay away from the quarterback. I want the backs and receivers to finish runs, okay? I want better etiquette. But more than anything, I want better execution. Are we clear on that? I want better execution.
Audio courtesy HBO. He's just as intensive as every fan out there that's fishing a barrel.
And I think
he might be a disaster, but that is going to speak to fans.
Let's make a little fairness here, though. That was him speaking to his team, and that was Kevin speaking to Nathan.
Yeah, we never
But
hear
I don't know that anything in any of us believes that Kevin would ever speak like that to the guys to get them up and going.
We've heard Kevin after wins.
Yeah.
And you look at Myles Garrett standing behind him with his arms crossed, and it's like, all right, coach. All right.
Well,
let me know when you're done.
It's been 6 years. They know the criticisms.
Setbacks pave the way for comebacks.
Comeback.
It's been 6 years. They know the criticisms that are waged towards him. If there was anything like John Gruden in there, it would have been out there by now.
So I think, Ken, that we always talk about this like in every coaching realm, whether it's like baseball, you go from one fiery guy and then the next coach you're going to have a little more analytical guy. I think we've been talking so much about, are we going to go with an offensive guy or a defensive guy? No matter who they go with, I think the next guy will be a fiery guy.
Yes.
A guy that when the cameras are turned down, which could get you into trouble because you might end up with Hugh Jackson. Like that's the one thing you got to remember. Or Freddie Kitchens. Like, we're going to get a guy like Freddie. Freddie was out there doing hilarious press conferences, telling jokes with the reporters. You go from one extreme to the other.
But I also think, like, you look at a guy, and this is college football, and I'm not advocating for him to be. I know I have the list, but I'm not advocating for him to be the Browns coach right now. Like, you can see a guy like Marcus Freeman. I think the days of the demigod coach, and this is one of the knocks against, I believe, Bill Belichick, the days of the demigod coach are kind of done. You need guys who are kind of in on it and kind of in with the team, motivating. Because if you're a guy that you make your players believe that you really do care about them, and it's hard to do in the NFL more than anything else, if you can get them to believe, then yeah, you can jump in their ass and they'll know that you're behind them. But if you're just sitting there, perform for me, I know what I'm doing, it ain't gonna work that way. You can't go into these situations anymore with tremendous ego. And I start to theorize about whether or not that Bill Belichick went into the North Carolina situation like that. Are you in it with them, or are they in it for you? Because there's a difference there. You know, Ryan Day's a great coach, and by the end of it, he may end up being a bigger figure at Ohio State than Urban Meyer even is, to borrow something that Nick Padone brought up a couple of weeks ago. But I think that when you see this, one of the biggest tests of Ryan Day was after that Michigan loss. They know he's in the foxhole with them. The football guy's a football guy, and they know he's with them. No matter what they're getting paid, no matter what free cars they get or whatever they get, they believe Ryan Day's right there in it with them. And if you can do that and you can draw it up and do the other things, well, you're going to be a blessed coach and you're going to get a lot of great results. If you can't do it, you're going to be on the other side of that. Now, I believe that John Gruden is that type of guy, but can he change with what today is with the NFL? Can he do that? I'm not sure. But when you have a guy who's that big of a personality, has been on TV for that long, does the videos that he does, where it's not just the unboxings, it's some of the stuff that he draws up there, the excitement with the quarterbacks and things. I mean, it's going to be motivating to the fan out there. A guy who wakes up getting ready to go to work in Parma or Broadview Heights or anywhere is going to be motivated by that.
And then when they talk about Steeler Week, it's not, hey, these guys know exactly what this week's all about.
Exactly.
Like, no, that's not.
Exactly.
If you're gonna, it's one thing if you're winning, fans will excuse all of that, right? But when you're losing and you're one of the worst teams in football 2 years, And you hear that guy time and time again, all of a sudden, the analytical approach that we loved in 2020 when they were dealing with COVID and it seemed like the Browns were ahead of all the other teams operationally, it's completely different in 2025.